In this particular video, we are going to cover NPC configuration and data management. These are behind the scenes settings and practices that determine whether your NPC org works smoothly or create constant headaches. Let's make sure you know what to look for and what to maintain. We will cover key NPC configuration areas, the setup menu, data management, best practices, explore the configuration areas in the org, and look at the ongoing admin responsibilities. NPC configuration happens in two main places. There are NPC specific setting accessible through NPC app or a dedicated setup area that controls app level behavior. That's where the standard Salesforce setup, where you configure object field, page layout, and automation. As you look at this slide, think of each row as answering a different question in the process. NPC setting is the non-profit domain behavior control. That is what you look at when you need consistent business logic. Salesforce setup is the platform-wide configuration. That is what you look at when you need security, automation, and data controls. Data standard is the naming required field duplicate. That is when you look at when you need reliable reporting outcomes. Maintenance cadence is the daily, weekly, monthly routine. That is what you look at when you need sustained org health. If you remember one thing from this slide, remember that each object has a distinct job. Once that clicks, the rest of the module get much easier. This comparison is really about choosing the cleaner operating model. On the left, reactive admin pattern usually looks like fix issues only when reported, no documented standards, and data drift accumulates quickly. On the right side, proactive admin pattern looks like planned checks and ownership, written quality standard, and predictable operational stability. If I were guiding a team, I would deliberately steer towards the right hand pattern because it creates a more stable process. In practice, this is the sequence I would follow. First, configure critical default intentionally. Next, enable duplicate and validation control. Then run schedule data quality checks. After that, review adoption metrics and adjust. What matter here is not just the checklist. It is the discipline of doing the steps in order the whole team can repeat. So let's look into Salesforce. When you go to setup, and if you go to within setup, you go to features. There, you have to look at the features specific for nonprofit. So over here, we have a feature by name fundraising. Let's look at the fundraising. In fundraising settings, we have to turn it on so that nonprofit cloud can make use of fundraising. Then these are the settings that we can specify, like the installment extension day has to be 1 day, lapse unpaid transaction count 3, then create the recurring schedule or not. After that, if I look into the gift entry, then do I need to do a matching or not? Similarly, there's a matching for donor too. Then this is just a approval that do we want to give the access to agent force related to the data. Then the gift planning and agreement setting that has to be enabled as true. In case we are using data cloud, then we have to enable that. So this is with respect to the NPC settings. We also have for gift entry. in case have to risk management. Then we have something called as outreach source code, where if we are making use of outreach, then we can specify the UTM parameters. Let's go back to presentation. So this is the summary. NPC configuration lives in NPC specific settings and standard Salesforce setup. Configure gives default program setting, fiscal year, and duplicate rules during implementation. Top 5 data quality practices are deduplication required, field validation rule, import discipline, and regular audits. And build an ongoing maintenance calendar. Proactive maintenance prevents reactive crisis management.